Hi, my name is Alison Tucker and I'm in Portland, Oregon, a long way from Martin Van Buren High School in Queens Village, New York. With Queens being at the epicenter of the COVID-19 crisis, we've all witnessed the damage this indiscriminate virus has subjected countless families to. We wanted to not just raise urgently needed funds to assist MVB families, but also to galvanize the MVB community behind this effort, giving hope to those in desperate need of some. We wanted to also create something that would both honor the diverse community and share our rich cultures. We're excited to share with you the results of this incredible cooperative effort of the teachers, students, alumni, and friends of the school. The MVBHS Comfort Food Cookbook, an extensive collection of 150 beloved recipes from all over the world. Today, I'm going to share with you one of my personal favorites for comfort food, a wild mushroom soup. I have all of the ingredients here. I'll just take you through them before I start cooking. I'm going to have a half of an onion chopped up, 4 garlic cloves that I'm just going to slice. I don't have to chop them up real fine. I have a pound of mushrooms, and this can be a combination of whatever is in season. Sometimes it's chanterelles, sometimes it's, these are some maitake mushrooms, some shiitake mushrooms, some cremini mushrooms. You can use whatever is in season, it's fantastic. I have some fresh thyme. I have a 1/4 cup of dry sherry that I'm going to deglaze the pan with. I have some nutmeg. I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper, which is so amazing. 4 cups of stock. Now this can be vegetable stock, it can be a mushroom stock, it can be a chicken stock. It sort of depends on where, how you are leaning that day, but anything will work. 4 cups of it. And then I'm also going to add some whole chestnuts. There are 8 whole chestnuts in this recipe, and you can buy these roasted and peeled and packaged, and then they can be available to you any time of the year. They're not seasonal. I'm going to make a pistachio pesto to put as a garnish with some basil and some olive oil and some fresh pistachios, and I'm going to smash them all up and just have that as a really fresh, wonderful garnish. All right, so we're going to get started in just 1 second. Okay, so now we're going to start cooking. I have a stock pot here. And into it, I've turned on the heat, and into it I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. And that is going to get heated up. And as it comes up, I'm going to add the chopped onion. So this is a half of a chopped onion and 4 cloves of garlic that I've just sort of slivered them. I haven't chopped them up too fine because they're going to get processed. And I don't want to lose, there's a really nice consistency and a little flavor that you get different if you keep them bigger than if you take them down all the way. So I'm going to add the onions and the garlic into the hot oil, and then I'm going to cook them. I'm actually going to drop the heat. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and I'm going to stir them up and make sure they're starting to get hot, starting to get cooked, starting to get some heat. And then I'm going to turn it way down and I'm going to sweat them on a very low temperature, and they're going to get caramelized. All of the sweetness is going to come to the surface of the onions, which are going to get gently brown. So that's going to take a little time. While that's happening, however, I'm going to start to cook my mushrooms. So here I have a saute pan, and I'm going to add the other tablespoon of olive oil into this saute pan. And as it gets hot, I have my pound of mushrooms that are all chopped up. You don't have to worry about this all being really specifically chopped up because it's all going to get cooked and blended. Don't worry about it. Just have a good time. So this is going to go, now my onions are starting to cook and I can hear them. You don't want them to get too loud because you don't want them to cook on a very high temperature. You just want them to sweat. So I'm going to turn that down in that pan, in the stock pot. And here in the saute pan, my olive oil is starting to heat up, and I'm going to just put in the mushrooms. Now the mushrooms are going to cook for a little while too, and what's going to happen to them is they're going to shrink, because mushrooms always shrink when you cook them. You do not want to add any salt to these for about 10 minutes. You want them to get really nice and brown and start to release all of their goodness into the pan before you salt them, because that will release more water, and we don't want to do that quite yet. Okay, I'll be back and show you what's going on in a few minutes. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so the mushrooms are cooking really well. You can see they are browning and they have lost a lot of their structure. My eyeglasses are getting foggy, but that's okay. So now I'm going to, this has been about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes that those mushrooms have cooked in just oil, and now I'm going to season them. So I'm going to generously give them some salt, which they will love. Stir that around. They're going to release a little bit of water because that's what salt always does in cooking. And then I'm going to deglaze it. I'm going to scrape up the bottom of the pan, which has a lot of mushroom bits, with a 1/4 cup of dry sherry. And the mushrooms love that. And then I'm going to add some seasoning. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper into that mixture. And 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme. That's fresh thyme from my garden. Some aromatics, you would say. Into that, we can turn the temperature up so that you get all of the bits from the bottom of the pan scraped up and cooked. You want all of those things that have caramelized on the bottom of the pan to go into the soup because they are delicious. So, that is gorgeous. Hopefully you can see. Those are the cooked mushrooms. All right, I'm going to turn the heat under the pan off. Here in my stock pot, you can see these onions are gently browning, which is exactly what we want. Those have been cooking for about 10 minutes in some olive oil and with a little seasoning, a little salt. And into this pot, I'm going to put the mushrooms with the cherry and the thyme, pepper, and nutmeg. Scrape those all into that stock pot. And into that stock pot now, I'm going to add the 4 cups of chicken stock or vegetable stock. And you have 8 chestnuts that have been roasted and peeled, and they're just going to get tossed on top in there. And then I have a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. You always want a little bit of acid to go into anything that you're cooking. It will give it a lot more flavor and body in your mouth. You will be happy. Now this is going to cook for 30 minutes. Partially covered, so I'm just going to sort of put the top on, but not sealed, not all the way. And I'll check back in with you in a little bit. Thank you. Hi. Okay, welcome back. So the soup is almost done cooking, and I have made a little garnish of a pistachio pesto. And what I did was I took about a half a cup of basil leaves and I smashed it with 3 tablespoons of pistachios and 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Now this is a little different than a regular pesto. It doesn't have any cheese, it doesn't have any garlic, because it's just trying to perfect the tastes of the mushroom soup. So it's just going to go as a little garnish on top of the soup. I'm going to show you. So now we have the soup, which has finished cooking. All of the flavors are really potent and beautiful. But now I need to blend it. So I have an immersion blender here, and that's a terrible sound. But that is going to get blended up really, really well. You can blend this in a Cuisinart, in a food processor if you like, but always wait until it cools down a little bit, because if you put boiling hot liquid into a food processor, it will explode all over the place and you will be burned and sad. Trust me, don't do it. So this is going to get blended until it's smooth, and then you're going to add the pesto right on top of it. I'm telling you, it's delicious. I think that you can see what a special treat this dish is, and I encourage you to try it and share it with your friends and family. If you'd like to see more of my cooking, my catering website is awonderlandoffood.com, and my blog with recipes is awonderlandofwords.com. I am proud to be helping out the school's students during such a crisis. Finding a way to alleviate the pain and suffering it has caused is vitally important to me. Sadly, their lives have witnessed tragedy firsthand, and this tears at all of us in the MVB community as we try to comfort and support these impacted children. We created this cookbook to raise money and awareness of this collective plight. I know everyone involved in making this happen is very proud of the cooperative effort that created this one-of-a-kind cookbook. If you can, please buy one of our Comfort Food Cookbooks, available for just $10, and join our Give Hope to Help project. Every single penny we raise will go to helping our students who have the greatest needs. Right now we have the opportunity to do even more, as we have received a very special matching grant which will triple every dollar we collect. So please, if you can, help us now. To support our cause, please send your contribution to www.venmo.com/MVBHS. And to get your copy of the cookbook, just email us at mvbhsalumns@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy.